Hi, welcome to Indicee. I want to talk to you today about a couple of the new features that are in the question panel on the report designer. Let's start with measures. Measures are those numeric values by which we measure our business. So any of the numbers, sales, quantity sold, those types of things that we use to figure out what's going on in reports. I've got a simple sales report here with line item sales listed on there. And normally, if you've been using Indicee in the past, you would have gone here and clicked add a measure and had a drop-down list appear. We've changed that. We've given you a lot more control over what appears in your report, and when we bring this up, we can select all sorts of different measures in this measure selection dialog. Not only can we do that, we can sort and filter them by things like favorites. I can actually go ahead and tag any of the measures as my favorites. So if you're one of those people that designs an awful lot of reports all the time, go ahead and flag those as the types of measures that you work with on a constant basis, and you can bring those forward. We can sort by tag, so when people are designing the different elements in your Indicee library, tagging allows you to group like items together. It also helps you to do things like apply column-based filtering to the values in your reports. A very, very powerful feature. This allows us to create custom measures on the fly. So custom measure is something that is local only to the report itself. We'll talk about that in just a few more minutes. What I want to do here is talk about how we can do things like change the formatting and change the default aggregation. So the report that we're looking at already has my line item sales on it. In the past, we might have actually built in a calculation for average sales right into the model. People could pick that. What we can do now is I can actually select line item sales once again and just go down and change the default aggregation from sum to average. So we can actually have the engine pick this up on the fly and return to the report, and that way I can add one single measure for my report, but I can derive different types of aggregations for it. And actually, to show you how this functions, I'm going to go ahead and add the average sales aggregation into the report also at the same time. So this gives us an opportunity to compare the two of them. You can see that there's one that's been built into the report, the other one has been built into the model. Obviously, both return the exact same results. We can also format these in different ways. So if I wanted to go back into my line item sales, I can select this and I can choose from predefined formats for this particular value, or I can go ahead and override the default one, type in something of my own. So I just want to apply the average without any of the pennies associated with it. I could certainly do that here. The next thing we want to look at is the aggregator. You can see actually on my line item sales measure, to the right of that, I actually have an aggregation by average applied, and we can see a specific icon associated with that. So it's a nice easy cue for you to pick up exactly what you want to have a look at. The other is that we can reorder our measures if I wanted to. If I wanted to put my hard-coded average right up at the top, I could just drag that in for you and redefine that. Where that one becomes really, really helpful is if we happen to be grouping our reports. Once again, you'll notice same kind of dialogue appearing for our groups. We have a couple of different types of groups now in this version of Indicee. We've actually separated out our subject area groups, things like in this case customer ID and order ID, from our time-based groups like order date. And one of the reasons we do that is so if I want to select something a time-based grouping like order date, I can actually have all my different periods appear for you down the right-hand side, and it makes it nice and easy to select from. So I want to group this by quarter. So I'll go in here, I'll select the employee ID, I'll add this as a group. Now in the past, of course, what we would have got was the report you see in front of you. That's order date, or in this case group by quarter, group by employee. That might not be the way we want to evaluate or look at this, and so I can actually just go ahead and drag my groups and reorganize those groups here. A nice, quick and easy way for you to be able to get the display or get the information you want and make report design an awful lot easier than it ever was. And just like before, if I wanted to see those quarters on the columns, I can click on rows by, change that to columns by, and not having to learn any sort of fancy tools to do this.